Hey Stitch family, it's Andrew here. I hope you're having a great week. I am, but I always do because I've got so many friends in Stitch, including you, even if I haven't met you yet. I just wanted to share with you for this Stitch community update a little bit about what's happening for our major event later on this year, the big Stitch trip in the US. If you're new, you might not have heard of this. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this trip. Even if you have heard about it and you can't come along, there's some really wonderful things that are happening along this journey, not just for the people who are going on the trip, but all the communities that we're going to be visiting down the west coast of the US. And it makes a really good story. So I thought for our latest community update, I just thought I'd share that story with you all. And of course, if you'd like to come on the trip, there's still a couple of spots left. But even if you don't want to come on the trip itself, if you live anywhere near Seattle, Portland, Oregon, Northern California, or even you just want to fly in for the day to be part of the fun, you're more than welcome. We've got people coming from Nevada and all over the place just for some of the events. So, but the story itself is really cool. So I'd love to share it with you. Should we take a look? All right. So as I said before, if you don't know what the Big Stitch trip is, this is our first foray into doing one massive event per year in one of the countries, either where we have Stitch communities or maybe in the future we'll do them in other countries as well. But we've got a trip put on for us by the wonderful tour company called Trafalgar Tours. Very, very highly rated, in beautiful accommodation, starting in Seattle, working our way down the splendors of the West Coast in the US. I've been to Seattle before, I've been to San Francisco before, but I haven't been along that way. And so I'm really looking forward to it. It's always been on my bucket list. And so this is a trip where our group of travelers will come along and do all the things that Trafalgar plans for us. So there's a lot of really fun sights to see, restaurants to go to, culture, wine tasting, all that sort of stuff. But in addition, because we now have communities in many of the cities that we're going to be visiting, we're being greeted by this amazing welcoming party with lots of Stitch, like small Stitch activities and big parties as well. And I'm just absolutely chuffed to see the response that we've seen from members in all of these towns. I'm just going to show you in a second about what's going on. And so I wanted to kind of share that. So even if you can't come along, you can all feel happy that this is happening. And if you can, we'd love to see you there as well, particularly if you live in or close to some of the areas we're talking about. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, if you jump over to, here we are on the Stitch Trips page, and at the top of the Stitch Trips page is the Big Stitch Trip 2025, the US Pacific Northwest. And you see that 25 of us we've got our own bus with a bus tour guide, and we're going to be traveling like royalty down the coast. And if you click onto that, you can see all the details. And there's a Trafalgar set up our own custom itinerary as well for where we're traveling, Seattle and all our way down the coast. It's really, really cool. And even if that's all we did, it'd be a great trip. I think it's going to be fantastic. But what makes Stitch special, of course, is that because you're part of the community, and we're a community where we have this shared set of values about having fun together, looking after each other, being kind and welcoming and so on, it means that any Stitch member can travel to any other town where there's an active Stitch community and expect to be treated like a long lost member of the family. We see that happening a lot these days on Stitch, which is really, really wonderful. And this is just like that on steroids. It's a massive version of that. So once we knew we had the itinerary set, we put up a couple of events in Seattle, Portland, and San Francisco, just to see, is the local community there interested in coming along? And whoa, the response has been fantastic. I've had some help. That's the other thing about Stitch. It's a community. We're a grassroots community. We can only do things if we rely on the help of our members, because that's what Stitch is. That's all we are as our members. So if I go to the events page, for me personally, you can see all my upcoming events happening, and the ones that are really interesting here are these ones. So there's a Seattle event, and there's a few members in Seattle that helped me out with the venue, and we're still locking some of the details down. But look, we've got 71 people attending the Seattle community event. 71 people who are coming out to welcome us, and we'll be there to welcome them and spread the love about Stitch. So yeah, if you live in anywhere near Seattle, you might live over the border in Canada, you might live a drive away, you might live a flight away, but you are more than welcome to come to Seattle around the time we're going to be there and come along to to this event. But there's also a bunch of other activities in Seattle, obviously around that time. So anyone on Stitch, in case you don't know, anyone on Stitch, if you go to the activities page, you can just take a look. You can just go to the filter at the top of the page, change the location to Seattle, Portland, you name it, and you can see what's on and put yourself down to register. Similarly, in Portland, we've got 70 people already registered to come to this big get-together when we get to Portland a few days later. So big events, they're mix and mingles. By this stage, the people who are on the tour will know each other pretty well, so we'll rock into town and be welcomed by everyone. And of course, if it's not your cup of tea, you don't have to come to these. Everything's optional. These are all great events to come along to, but it's optional. But it's a really great way for us to meet. I've never been to Portland. I've got a bunch of some of my most favorite members of Stitch live in Oregon because they've done wonders to help Stitch grow, not just in Portland, but in some of our rural towns as we work our way down. In fact, some of them are going to be visiting us at a place called Yaquina Head, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Lighthouse. So Dawn and a bunch of local members, and this is really regional, small towns, and they're going to be driving to come and meet us. Apparently there's this beautiful spot to watch the sunset over the Pacific Ocean. Really, really, really cool. I don't have an event up for a town called Eureka because I didn't know we had a community in Eureka, but guess what? Apparently we do. And so when we're in Eureka, we'll meet some of our local members, which is also really cool. And then finally, when we get to San Francisco and the Bay Area, we've got a few days in San Francisco. And we've just published a gala. Our gala for 2025 is in San Francisco this year. And we're hoping that people will start to come along and register for that event. I'm sure it's going to get sold out. Every time I've run one of these gala events, we did one in Sydney last year, and they do get sold out. So if you live in the Bay Area or anywhere nearby, some of the people from here I mentioned are coming from a long way to get there. Come along. We'd love to see you. It's going to be history in the making. I've never done anything like this before. Brought a whole lot of people on a continental trip in another country, and it's all being facilitated by the love that we've all got for Stitch and each other. All of just that sense of being a community where we make each other happy by making ourselves happy and vice versa. So I'm already excited. I'm already just chuffed at the sort of things that our members are showing their enthusiasm for. Even if you don't live in the US, obviously it's hard to get to, so you might not be able to come, but I'm hoping you can kind of share the love with us and the excitement. Next year, we'll be running a poll for where you would like us to run the next big Stitch trip, because we'll do another one next year. And again, we'll learn a lot of lessons from this one about the sort of destinations that people want to go to, the types of activities, and how big we can make it. But if you'd like to be on this history-making one, it would be wonderful for you to either come along. As I said, we would love, we're hoping to get up to around 30 or so members on the trip. So there's still a few spaces left. But you don't have long, so you only got a couple of months to get planning. If you would love to come, that's great. Even if you can't come on the full trip, if you'd want to come to one of these towns to meet us, you are more than welcome, and we'd love to see you there. So I'm looking forward to sharing some photos and stories with all of you once the trip's over, and we can all just, as I said, share the love in what a wonderful community we become in 2025. Thanks for listening. Take care of yourself, look after someone else if you can too, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.